My systems are continuing to function at peak efficiency. All systems are... There we go, sir.
World's always gonna have tyrants. If I get my way, there'll be a lot less.
Preston thought you might be able to figure out these plans for me.
Sure thing. Let's see what you've got.
Do you think you can build this?
Wow. What a mess. Looks like, encrypted RF transmissions. Okay, so that gets routed through... What the hell? Teleportation. This is some pretty crazy shit. You sure it's for real?
I got this from someone who should know what he's talking about. Can you build it, or not?
Well, yeah. I think. Anyway, the eggheads never think about the nuts. I'm gonna need some time to study this thing. But, you can get started on what he... it'll need...
Just tell me what we need so I can get started.
Yeah, sure. Here's a list of what you'll need for the first... While you're working on that, keep in mind, I can already... Like if you had a spare nuclear reactor handy, we could probably use it. And it's going to be big. So find a nice open building site with lots of power available.
You can
Maybe
count on
constantly
me.
trying to kill us, but the Commonwealth never...
Thanks to Bob Crosby for that one. Now here's the latest from the Commonwealth. Reports suggest a chem deal gone bad, outside Diamond City. Details are scarce, but it sounds like whatever happened, it was pretty violent. If we're able to verify any further details of this story, we'll pass them on to you listeners. Just another day in the Commonwealth, huh, folks? Dead set on making it shake. Here's Big Maybell.
All this walking's wearing
Sturgis.
me out.
How's it going? Did you find a good spot to build your signal interceptor?
Yeah. Ready to build the rest?
Good. I think I got a handle on this crazy. Here's a list of 3 things that...
Uh-huh.
I'll meet you over at the building.
My onboard functions are operating at full capacity.
Everything looks good on my end. You ready to see if this thing actually works?
Let's do this.
You sure? Okay. Your part is simple. Just step onto the platform. I'll start scanning for an Institute signal to lock onto. Then, I fire her up and we see what happens. Getting cold feet? I don't blame you. I'm ready when you are.
Hey. How you doing, buddy? Might be best if we split up for a while, boy.
Whenever you're ready. Okay, hold real still. I don't want any corruption of the molecular beam. Oh yeah, by the way, I figured this was a golden opportunity to find out as much as we can about the Institute and what they're up to. Yeah, this holotape's all set with a program that will scan their network and download anything it finds. Uh-oh. Yeah, we better hurry. And don't worry about that tubing wiggling around. It's, just there for decoration. Okay. Scanning for the Institute signal. Tracking RF. And... got it. Hold on to your butt.
wondered if you might make it here. You're quite resourceful. I'm known as Father. The Institute is under my guidance. I know why you're here.
That was Billy Ward and the Dominoes.
I'd like to discuss things with you face.
Hey everyone, Travis Lonely Miles here, bringing you the type of news you just don't hear about every day. Word is that a group of soldiers from the Brotherhood of Steel were sighted in the Commonwealth recently. Things got hairy for them at the old Cambridge police station. How hairy? I can't be sure. But I've heard about the kind of firepower those guys pack.
Face.
Been good.
Please, step into the elevator.
Everyone's favorite vault dweller, who happened upon the scene and lent a much-needed hand. Good job surviving out there. Best of luck to all involved in the future. Travis Lonely Miles here, bringing you Louis Jordan with Keep a Knockin', which is what you've just got to do until the damn door opens.
I can only imagine what you've heard, what you think of us. I'd like to show you that you may have the wrong impression. Welcome to the Institute. This is the reality of the Institute. This place, these people, the work we do. For over 100 years, we've dedicated ourselves to humanity's survival. Decades of research, countless experiments and trials, a shared vision of how science can help shape the future. It has never been easy, and our actions are often misinterpreted by those above ground. Someday, perhaps, we can show them what we've accomplished. But for now, we must remain underground. There's too much at stake here to risk it all. As you've seen, things above are unstable. I'd like to talk to you about what we can do for everyone. But that can wait. You are here for a specific, very personal reason. You are here for your son.
trusted. Sean?
Huh? Yes, I'm Sean.
Sean? Is that really you?
Who are you?
Sean, where is everyone?
Father, what's going on? What's happening?
Sean, are you okay? You're not hurt, are you?
What's going on? Father? Father!
What do you want me to do, Sean? What can I do?
I don't know you. Go away. Father! Father, help me! There's someone here, help me!
Who is Father? Where is he?
Father? Father, help me! He's trying to take me! Father? Father, help me!
Sean. S923, recall code Cirrus. Fascinating, but disappointing. The child's responses were not at all what I anticipated. He's a prototype, you understand. We're only just now beginning to explore the effects of extreme emotional stimuli. Please try and keep an open mind. I recognize that you are emotional, and that your journey here has been fraught with challenges. Let's start anew. I am Father. Welcome to the Institute.
Father? That's your name? Your title?
Father is my unofficial title. It's what I've come to mean to the people of the Institute, just as you mean to your son, to Sean.
I'll make this very simple. Where is my son?
He's here, in the Institute. Closer than you think. But I need you to realize that this situation is far more complicated than you could have imagined. You have traveled very far, and suffered a great deal to find your son. Well, your tenacity and dedication have been rewarded. It's good to finally meet you, after all this time. It's me. I am Sean. I am your son.
How is that even possible?
I know this is a lot to take in. In the vault, you had no concept of the passage of time. You were released from your pod and went searching for the son you'd lost. But then you learned that your son was no longer an infant, but a 10-year-old boy. You believed that 10 years had passed. Is it really so hard to accept that it was not 10, but 60 years? That is the reality. And here I am, raised by the Institute, and now its leader.
But why? Why take a child? Why take you?
Ah, now that's the question, isn't it? Why me? At that time, the year 2227, the Institute had made great strides in synth production. But it was never enough. Scientific curiosity and the goal of perfection drove them ever onward. So they followed the best example thus far.
Uh-huh. Human synths? Really?
Human-like synths.
Sure.
The Institute endeavored to create synthetic organics. The most logical starting point, of course, was human DNA. Plenty of that was available, of course. But it had all become corrupted. In this wasteland, radiation affected everyone, even in their attempts to shield themselves from the world above. Members of the Institute had been exposed. Another source was necessary. But then the Institute found me after discovering records from Vault 111. An infant, frozen in time, protected from the radiation-induced mutations that had crept into every other human cell in the Commonwealth. I was exactly what they needed. And so it was my DNA that became the basis of the synthetic organics used to create every human-like synth you see today. I am their father. Through science, we are family.
I don't believe you. There's no way any of this is true.
I wish there was something to say.
Uh-huh. You're my son? Then prove it. Now.
I've already told you how I came to be here. I don't... I've shown you my trust.
If this is true, where do we start?
I know you must have questions. Please. Anything.
Kellogg. He worked for you?
Kellogg. It wasn't until I became director that I learned of all the things he'd done.
You knew the man was a psychopath, but you used him anyway?
Would you have preferred that I turned him loose on the Commonwealth? The Institute took advantage of Institute technology prolonged.
Sure.
He never failed, the Institute. I won't lie. It's no coincidence your path crossed his. It seemed a fitting way to allow you... us. What else can I say?
So you're in charge of the Institute?
I am the acting director of the Institute.
But director? Why you?
I was the most qualified for the... I've lived my life within these... Ultimately, the Commonwealth has nothing. Just... What else can I say?
I think I've heard enough for now.
Very well. The Institute is on the verge. I've been a part of some... And now...
You want me to stay here? In the Institute?
Yes. That is... The Institute can... You've been in the
How can you say that? How can you be so
Because it is the simple truth. And I believe... I simply ask that you give the Institute... me... We really do have humanity's best interest at heart. Will you take that chance?
I just don't know.
Just... give it time. Give the Institute a chance. The Institute is now your home. You want to introduce yourself to the division. And finally, Doc...
Almost done. Just need to tighten up this primary drive servo.
That's the third primary drive breakdown this month. As far as I'm concerned, the phase-out on these older models can't come soon enough.
Oh, I don't know. Most of them have lasted long past their projected lifespans. If you ask me, they were built pretty well.
I can't argue with that. Even so, I'm ready to see the full Gen 3 roll out.
There we go. All set. Unit, you can return to duty.
Hi.
Thanks again.
Scanning.
Of course.
Subject identified. Scanning unknown identity. Clearance confirmed.
We're all looking forward to working with you.
Hi.
So much research, so little time.
The Institute's a big place. It might take a while to learn where everything is.
Doc.
They weren't kidding. You really are here. Well, all right. I'm Allie Fillmore. You can think of me as the Institute's chief engineer. When Father told us about you, I could hardly believe it. You've been through so much, I think most people would have just given up. If you don't mind my asking, what was it that kept you going all that time?
What makes you ask? I'm a complete stranger to you.
I suppose when I heard your story, well, I felt sorry for you. You've suffered more tragedy than any one person deserves. Your whole world is gone. I'm sorry. I know that was a very personal question. Now, I'll give you a quick rundown of the Facilities Division, and then I'll answer any questions you might have afterward. As you might guess, we keep the Institute's mechanical and electrical systems running smoothly. We maintain and upgrade all of the systems that make it possible to live and work in a place like this. There's a lot of machinery behind these walls that recycles the air and water and provides power to the laboratories and quarters. The work we do might not be as exciting as some of the other departments, but it's at least as important. So, now that you're here and you've spoken to Father, does that mean you're on board?
I'm not on board with anything.
No? And yet here you are, poking around. One might find that suspicious. If you're not planning on staying, I'd recommend keeping your hands to yourself. Wouldn't want to give the impression you're up to something. And consider having another talk with Sean. He really is anxious to have you with us. If there's anything else you'd like to know about the Facilities Division, I'm happy to discuss it.
Who built this place, originally? Has it been here long?
The construction of the Institute is the work of generations of scientists. The original survivors of the war, our progenitors, took refuge in the basement of the old Commonwealth Institute of Technology. Over time, their sons and daughters dug deeper into the earth and built increasingly sophisticated habitats and laboratories. It's a process that's still going on today. Even now, we're digging out tunnels for new facilities and infrastructure. Just think what this place will look like 100 years from now. I hope I'm there to see it.
I'm trying to learn chess, but the computer always beats me.
Excuse me.
Dad says I'm as good as he is with computers.
All systems nominal.
Have you had time to examine my latest reports on Batch 274?
Not yet. I've been reviewing Father's plans to expand our operations at Warwick. He's eager to get that going, so I've had to put everything else to one side.
I wonder how the Warwick family is doing. Young Wally must be close to 10 years old by now. It's remarkable that any child can survive for so long up there, don't you think?
I try not to think too much about it. We have more than enough to occupy ourselves here. And those people are the last remnants of a dying past. It's best not to dwell on the subject.
They're still people, and they're suffering. We can at least admit that it's regrettable. After all, how can we hope to redefine mankind if we can't even hold on to our own humanity?
Well, that's a question best left to our colleagues in the robotics division.
Yes, well... I suppose you're right. Director Holdren seems very taken with you.
Dr. Carlin's doing some amazing things with our genetically engineered crops.
Hey, Doc.
Welcome. So good to have you here. Dr. Clayton Holdren, head of the Bioscience Division. I can't wait for you to see the work we're doing. It's truly amazing. It's all right. No hurry.
Like what?
I was just about to explain that. As the name implies, the Bioscience Division specializes in fields of study such as botany, genetics, and medicine. Our most important directive is to ensure the health and well-being of everyone in the Institute. To that end, we cultivate highly specialized breeds of flora for use in food and medicine. We've even started to explore the idea of synthetic animal life. You probably saw the gorillas. They're really just a pet project at this point, but the potential is exciting nonetheless.
The gorillas are synths too?
They are indeed. Judging by your reaction, we've done a good job making them seem like the initiative is still... I'm sure I've taken up
I'm an outsider. Would there even be a place for me here?
Even if science isn't your passion, there are plenty of ways to contribute. Our projects sometimes require an agent who can work on the surface to observe and gather information. From what I've heard, you are both fearless and resourceful. I think you'd be... In any case, I imagine you'll want to continue looking around. Or, if you prefer, I'd be happy to...
Uh-huh. Tell me more about those synth gorillas.
On the whole, I'd say they were a success. Their behavior does general...
Dr. Holdren's synth gorilla project is showing promising results.
That's it.
Another great one from Betty Hutton. The Minutemen are making waves in the Commonwealth, folks, and that's good news for all of us. The latest word is that they've retaken the castle. Rolled out of theirs from back in the day. From everything I've heard, it was no small feat to get that back under their control. There's some real monsters out there in the Commonwealth, folks.
Operating at full capacity.
Is it true
Now that they've
Food
set up
Supplement
shop,
77 has been discontinued?
That is correct.
That was my favorite one. Can't we keep it a little longer?
I will be happy to forward your request to the Bioscience Division. In the meantime,
if there's
please
someone
feel free to
special
enjoy
in your
one of our
life,
other
then
nutritious
this
and
next
flavorful